Hi Dollar Divas, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a little while since I've done one of these, but today I'm going to be duping a palette. And the palette I'm going to be duping is the new Natasha Denona Mini Bronze Palette. So as I sit here filming this now, it is now available on the Natasha Denona website. And I believe it's not available in stores until the end of the month. So if you're unfamiliar, these little mini palettes usually retail for about $25 and you get 5 eyeshadows. So often when they have a full-size palette, they will come out with these mini versions. And I believe they almost always, if not always, have 5 different shades. But I do love duping luxury makeup and high-end makeup because, you know, things are crazy right now. Inflation is high, and right now especially that may not be realistic. And if you have a decent makeup collection or eyeshadow collection, you probably have these shades. Now granted, like I said, the quality I've heard is second to none, all that kind of thing, but I'm just talking about duping a look and just going into your collection, and you know, these are neutral shades. So I have done a few of these videos. I will have my duping playlist linked down below so you can binge watch more videos like this if you're interested. And if you are new to my channel, my name is Jessica and I love to do a lot of dollar store oriented makeup and shopping content. And I also like to do a lot of affordable and really downright cheap, like dollar store makeup content. So if that sounds like your thing, you are definitely in the right place. Become what I like to call a dollar diva. So without any further chit chat, let's just go ahead and get into today's video. So I'll have the palette up here, that way you can follow along with what shade we're on. And I'll also put up swatches as well, because sometimes what the eyeshadow looks like in the pan and what it looks like in a swatch are two different things. Sometimes I'll find like a perfect shade that looks just like the pan, but then the swatch doesn't quite look like it. Ultimately, I will go with what the swatch looks like. So the first shade is the shade Russet. It is described as a matte, warm, dark brown. And I really only pulled from 3 palettes in my collection. And I could have really reached from a lot of other eyeshadows that I had. I just wanted to keep it as simple as I could. So I have 2 options here. I have the shade Champ in the Festival palette. And I went with the shade in the Beige Cosmetics palette. I felt like it was just a little bit darker than the shade Champ in the Festival palette. So that right there is what we've got so far. So the shade Flush is described as a matte beige nude. And of course, this is just a kind of a base shade, and these types of shades are very typical in a lot of palettes. And I could have gone with a lot of different things out of just about every palette I own. But in the Profusion Mirage palette, I went with the shade Likeable. And I ultimately went with that because of how it's swatched. Now for the shade Gobi, it's described as a matte medium tangerine brown. And I felt like the best shade, although I had something in all of these palettes that was similar-esque, I decided to go with the shade Brick in the It's My Ray Ray palette. So there is my dupe for Gobi. So this is the only shimmer in the palette, and it is called Bronze Foil. And it is described as a metallic coppery bronze. Of course, all 3 of these palettes have different kinds of shimmery, warm shades, you know, browns and coppers and all that kind of thing. Again, I went with the It's My Ray Ray palette. And I went to the shade right here called Shinin'. It actually looks very similar to the pan as well, but I felt like the swatch was so similar in tone and texture. Then the last shade is called Tough, and it's described as a matte medium terracotta. So in the Festival palette, the shade Crochet is very similar. I ultimately decided to go with the shade Canyon from the Mirage palette. So here are my swatches, and I will have the swatches that I found on Natasha Denona's Instagram above. That way you can compare and see how close I came. And again, these shades are just kind of, you know, some basic warm neutrals. Like I said, I know the quality of her shadows is apparently amazing, but if you have a collection of neutral eyeshadows and you don't want to spend $25 right now with inflation being so high and all that kind of stuff, and gas and all that crazy stuff, definitely shop your collection, see what you have, and like I said, see the look that I got using all those shades. I'm sure it's similar to a look that you will get using that palette as well, and you can save some money and use what you have. I love doing these videos. I certainly do hope that you enjoy them. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like it and also share it with people you may know that could also benefit from a video like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.